around queer people is a very valid question to ask, especially given these times. In order to people want to support the artist they want to choose based off the values, totally understandable. I think where it gets kind of interesting is that I think we need to ask ourselves, well, what are the differences within, especially African-centered queer representation? I think we need to look at what that looks like beyond sex. And I think we also need to recognize that, Ryan Coogler presents as a very straight, cishet man. To want queer representation out of him, it's not asking a lot, but I think you know what you're kind of gonna get with a Ryan Coogler film. He's very African centered as a filmmaker, and I think that's amazing, incredible. That's why I go see Ryan Coogler films. But to ask for him to also represent queer characters and have these queer storylines, I don't think it's in his wheelhouse. Now, I will say the surreal montage in Sinners could have very much had a voguing ballroom kind of scene. If you have a ballerina, you have the Memphis juking scene, you can very much have a voguing scene. Or even some creators and threads have mentioned like Black Dandyism. That would have been incredible to have. I wish it would have been. I think that would have been incredible, especially with this theme of liberation. Having that imagery would have been great. I think the question we need to ask ourselves is, do we understand what it means to be African-centered and queer, or the queerness within being African-centered? And how does that look like depicted on screen? And I think that's the kind of question we should be asking, because then I think we can then approach Ryan Coogler and saying like, hey, there were queer people in Africa, read The Spirit of Intimacy, like queer people in Africa did exist, but it wasn't just with, sex. Queer people tend to have, we see things differently. We have a different kind of like worldview and perspective. And so showing that and depicting that within a Ryan Coogler film, I would be very much interested in. But if it's just representation for representation's sake, I don't know. Ryan Coogler just isn't that filmmaker, and I go to other filmmakers for that.